Here we go. Alright, so, for the past few weeks and, over the hack days, I've been giving a go at the over-the-wire challenges, and some of them have been pretty hard, but those are usually the most interesting ones. So I thought I'd go through a bunch of them with you guys today to, well, have something to talk about and to prepare a bit for Seesaw and Syska, and yeah, they're really cool. So you should see them. I don't want to spoil like the over-the-wire challenges for you too much if you want to do them yourselves, but I don't know. They're pretty cool. So you can do them yourself, and maybe you come up with a slightly different way about it. So I am probably the worst of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about. I'm probably the worst at reverse engineering, so I'm going to do that first because I'm a bit tired. So where's that? Alright. Yep. So we are given a check binary. Let's get this up. Oh yeah, SSHing out of Swinburne.
You're not the first one.
Sorry?
You're not the first one.
First one what?
To SSH out of Swinburne.
You go through it.
Or my suggestion, what are you trying to contact through your SSH?
Yeah.
There we go. Cool.
There we go. Alright, so the Leviathan stuff is just in the home directory here. So we can see from here there's the default bash stuff, but there's this backup folder. So what's in there? Bookmarks.html. Oh, that's actually the boring challenge here. You just grep for the password. That's it. So if we get out of that and go to the next level, Leviathan 1.
That's the Leviathan 0, what you expect.
Yeah, I forgot. So, check. There we go. So X, it's executable. It has the set UID set on that, so that means that it will run as a different user. So it's actually going to run as Leviathan 2, even though we are Leviathan 1. So as long as we have permission to execute it, it's going to execute as the user that it's got the set UID for. So if we run this, it's going to ask us for a password. And it needs at least 2 characters. Yeah. So if we just try that, well, nothing really striking about that.
Strings, it's S.
Oops. Yeah. So it's not really showing us the password in there. So what we can do is let's debug it and just skip the password check. That should be something that we can do. I'd only previously done GDB once before this with Julian's help, so and not really knowing much x86 assembly is going to be interesting. But it can't be that much different from pick and ARM. So first step is to make a breakpoint in the main. Then we can run the program, get it to stop at the breakpoint, disassemble it, and see the code. Alright, here's the whole main function. So basically, you can see over here that it's calling printf, and then it's getting 3 characters. And then it's doing a comparison, and then doing a test of the EEX general purpose register that, given it's straight after this call to string comparison, I imagine is the result of that. And then it's going to jump if the 0 bit is not equal to something.
Not equal.
Where is it? Yeah, not equal to what?
Just not equal. So if the two strings are not the same, then you go back.
Oh yeah, that's one way to think about it. I actually looked it up, and so jump if not equal will perform the jump if the 0 flag is 0. Test performs an AND operation. Basically, it's just if the result of that is 0, then the 0 flag is set. So that's just basically just setting the 0 flag for that instruction to be able to use it, because it may have changed from something about the stack and calling that. Anyway, so it's basically just checking if that is equal to 0. So that's whether the string comparison was successful. So all we need to do is set EEX to 0 when it gets to here. So to do that, we can get the address of that line here. So break at this address. Alright, continue. And that's going to ask us for the password. Doesn't matter. Alright, disas. Okay, so we are up to this line now. And we can inspect the registers to see what the value of EEX actually is. -1. Okay. So I take it the string comparison failed. The password is not ASD. So we can set EEX to 0. There we go, EEX is now 0. And then we can so this jump if not equal is going to jump to this address, which is +152, so down there. So if I had a breakpoint down there and where it doesn't jump, we can actually see whether it jumps or not. And this one. Okay, so continue. And then let's see where we are. Alright, just after the jump. So it didn't in fact do the jump. So let's see what happens. We just let it continue. Oh, look at that! We've got a shell. Cool. All right, let's cat the password file.
Why did not just not auto-completing?
Sorry,
That's why you're not just auto-completing.
SH doesn't do autocomplete, unfortunately.
No, that sucks.
Uh-oh, what's this?
Doesn't do up either.
No. So, just to confirm that it is actually working, well, cat, and it's the right path. So we can read our current password, but we can't read the next one. But this binary has the set UID bit set on it, so, you know, we should have access, right? Unfortunately, we are running GDB as us, and the GDB is running that binary. So that's not actually going to let us do what we want to do. So, back to the drawing board with that one. I actually spent quite a while on this and couldn't figure it out. So I looked up the answer and ltrace. Sure, alright, let's see what that does.
It checks the variables. Yep.
So what ltrace does is it shows you the system calls. Oh, would you look at that? It's doing a string comparison between ASD and sex. That's a weird password. Is it the password? So to show you again, here, so let's try this. There we go, we've got the shell. But again, if we try and cat the password file, it's not going to work because ltrace is running as us. But that's okay, we know the password now, so we can just do it by itself. Ta-da! Yeah. I was so happy about having got the disassembly to work, but then it didn't actually continue with the set UID thing, so that was really annoying. Yeah, so I had to look up the answer for this one as well, which was a bit silly, because well, let's dive in and have a look at it. Print file. Okay, it's got the set UID bit as well. Let's see what it does. File name. Okay. Well, maybe you can just print us out the password file straight away.
If only it was that easy.
Can't have that file. That's not fair. Can't even get that one. So we can't write to this directory, but we can write in temp. So we can just to test a simple file.
I get deleted after you look.
They don't actually.
Wow.
So you can look up like temp / common name, and you can find stuff in there.
I would imagine there's probably a bunch of there's probably a cron job that goes through and deletes it regularly.
Probably. I wonder how often it goes though, because
Because otherwise you'd be like making files and then people would look at it and be like, but I want that file. Somebody else is using it for it.
so yeah, all right. It can print out that file, but let's use ltrace again because that worked nicely last time. We can see what it's actually doing. All right, it's calling an access function and passing in the then it's calling system and running cat and then passing in the file path. Hold on a minute here. That's not actually quoting that that file name. So maybe, I wonder what would happen if we tried it with a file with a space in it. So, I forgot to show that access actually checks whether the file exists. So here, it does access, and then if it can't access that file, so if it doesn't exist or with no permission, it quits. But if we can access it, then it calls cat. So here, that is actually catting two separate files. So as long as we have the full file name that we supply, as long as that is an existing file, so it passes the access call there, then we can cat out two separate files. I think I explained this better when I wrote it down.
Or we use your actual function in the way.
Yeah. So yeah. Yes, the reason it doesn't work is explained in the manual for access, the Linux system call for that. So the check is done with the processor's real user ID and group ID rather than with the effective IDs, as is done when actually attempting an operation. This is to allow set UID programs to easily determine the invoking user's authority. So that means that we, as Leviathan 2, have to have access to the full file that we supply. But these two files can be owned by Leviathan 3. So what we can do is we can actually add a symlink from that file to the one that we actually want to cat out, the password file. Because that file there exists, the one with the space in it, but this one's trying to cat out two files. So if we just make a symbolic link from the one that we want to there, that should do what we want. Of course it does. Let's choose a less unique file name. And then so that's not going to work because that file doesn't exist with the space in it. So if we just make that, there we go. Hang on. Oh no, I've done it the other way around.
Oops.
Yeah, no, let's, okay. Let's do what I wrote down. So if we have two files, A and B, and AB with a space, cat will use the first two and access the last one. Therefore, if we make each file, it'll work fine. We can use a symbolic link for the file that will be read by cat. So if we go to a temp folder, okay, now touch the files that are, sorry, the one file that it's going to check if we have access to, then make the link from the file A to the password that we want. Alright, now we can just print, oh no, it's in the home directory, print file AB. Ta-da! Yeah. So, I was kind of annoyed that I hadn't noticed that myself. Looked it up. And yeah, those ones are very similar to that, so let's just move on to the other stuff. Natas. Alright. Actually, let's not start with there, they're boring. Yeah, this one's alright. So, alright. Access disallowed. You're visiting from nowhere, while authorized users should only come from Natas 5. Okay. What happens if we hit refresh? No, hang on. Oh, hang on, it's got a button there. Yep, that'll do it. That looks like a referrer URL. So, all we have to do is change the referrer URL to Natas 5. An easy way to do that is to go to Natas 5, and it's not actually going to let us in, but it's going to throw up a failure page that we can then make a link in.
I just did it through Bert.
Ta-da! Alright. What do we do for this one? Yeah. Alright, so there's nothing useful here in the source. That's just something to keep track of your score as you go through.
I love how the tops part is like, this is not in the...
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nothing to do with the level.
I did actually look through the JavaScript before I saw that.
You were the only one.
So,
Yeah, didn't I show you all the title level?
Kind of. I'd gone through it every time just to make sure there wasn't anything due for like the first 4 levels, and then one was like, you realize it says it right. I'm like, yeah.
so you've done the first 4 levels of Natas?
Up to level 9 or something.
Okay, cool.
So I haven't actually been like, I did those in a relatively short period of time. I had trouble with one level.
What level are you up to?
I finished it.
Ah, okay. I'm up to Natas.
Oh, actually, no. No, I have up to 26. How many are there?
Latest one, though? Yeah, 26 is like second from the...
Yeah, so there's 2 left. I'm really stuck with that one. I don't know what to do.
I'm up to it, I'm up to 13.
So where are we? Oh, yeah. Did anybody see it as I scrolled quickly? So, yep, cookies, logged in. So this is just a Chrome add-on. So we go through my list of a million extensions.
Those are using Firefox as quick as you can just download Firebug. Firebug comes with all of that stuff, so.
Okay. Well, Cookie Inspector just adds a tab to the Chrome Inspector here, and we can edit the value of this to 1. My, that was easy. So we know it was cookies.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It's giving us some source code on this one. Alright. Includes secret ink. Yeah. So if secret is equal to the secret that we submitted in the form, then it'll let us in. But where does this come from? Maybe it's something to do with this. Huh. Alright, so that's not in the same format as the password. So yeah, we can put the secret here. Then we get the real password.
Oh yes, this one.
Home.
This is the one that had to
About.
I kind of had the concept that I was.
Is that Natas 7?
Yeah, that's nice. I was trying to do it the wrong way.
So, given that the hint is telling us where a file on the file system is, I would suggest that it's a vulnerability in this part here. So it's actually including a file. So, let's see what happens if we go... Huh.
It's really funny, you don't need to do the // because you can just go straight from the root.
Oh, right. Yeah, I thought it might be appending something, so yeah.
No, it's not.
Easy. So you've done that one?
Yeah, I'm up to 13.
Okay.
I'm stuck. I'm pretty sure I've got the way to do it. I've just got to get around to doing it. I'm actually going to talk to you about it.
Do you mind too much if I spoil? What's this? Level 8. Ah, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I learned when I was doing that? I said that PHP is actually installed on this.
Sorry?
PHP is installed by default on this.
On Mac?
Yeah.
Oh.
Learned it during that. Say like, there you go.
But Apache isn't, so
Yeah,
that keeps
but
it
you
secure.
But you don't need Apache to run PHP files.
No,
You can run
but-
command line,
Yeah.
which is what I did for this one.
So, view source code.
Boy, lovely, lovely source.
Black and white is ugly. Let's get some colors.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've completed Natas 9.
Oh, I didn't actually keep that one.
Oh well, just go back to the source code, just deal with it. I'm sure you could probably get
Alright.
like a add-on.
Like that.
Maybe
So-
not.
Hey Ben.
You made it.
Mate, all of the printers in Swinburne decided to crash.
Oh,
Jim, what
brilliant.
did you do to the print server?
Oh, I'm sorry. Just a little.
So,
What we do with it?
encoded secret. So, so this is going to encode the secret that we submit in the form
Oh, yeah.
and stick it through
I was trying to brute force this.
bin to hex
Oh,
then reverse it, and then base 64 it.
Yeah, I
So-
was trying to brute force this, and Luck was just like rewrite the code.
Yeah. So let me bring up something I
He asked,
prepared
why did
earlier.
it take you so long in this? And I'm like, well,
Shouldn't I just copy paste the code and just run it through it anyway?
yeah, no, but
Oh, hang
you
on.
said, you showed me. Because, like, as I said,
Oh no,
I was
you,
trying-
yeah.
I was trying to decode that via just using the hex and stuff. I was trying to do it the hard way.
I think I actually stuck it into a PHP interpreter online and just reversed the functions.
Yeah,
Well-
that works too.
After I got PHP working on my laptop, it was there.
So, what? So, yep, through some online things, just undo the into hex. This is using the interpreter, I think. Yeah. In an online PHP sandbox. And that outputs the base 64. Yeah. Reverse it. Undo the base 64. And then we got that. The secret. Ta-da!
Isn't the secret like really long? Or did it-
Now this one's interesting. So you're up to this one, Lachlan.
Oh, no,
No.
13, I'm up to this one.
You're okay.
I believe
So
it was about a week ago. I hadn't got back to this since then. And I kind of looked at it and went,
so with this one, what's happening is you can see the source code. So the needle that you input is sent to a system call, unescaped. So yeah, can anybody see what we might need to do in here? Yep. So bring up what I did earlier. Yes, it's interpolating an input into a system call. So it's using grep. Oops. Nope. Ah.
apparently not as awkward as some people accidentally pulling things down and having like 20 backgrounds.
Yeah, I keep standard backgrounds, as you might have seen.
Yeah. I unfortunately know far too many people who don't.
Alright, so
Fires.
if we use a dot in this, because it's regex, it's going to use, because it's grep, it's going to use a regex, so the dot just means any character, so that's listing every line in the file that it's grepping through. Dictionary.txt. So we can actually get it to search a different file and then comment out the rest of it. So let's see what that does. Output the password file. Ah, look at that. Alright. But it's not actually showing us the password in there. We could use that shadow thing and then brute force it, but you know, you can actually just use the
What you learned earlier.
yeah. Let's show the next password.
Did you seriously do the table, the users table at the start? Like what you just did before. I can't remember what it's called.
What do you mean? Oh, the password.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I just went straight to the password file.
Yeah, I should have Just wanted to see if you could access a file first.
And the half-life of certain characters.
Yeah. Gee, that's okay.
It's almost as bad as just
So-
down right click.
Let's see. Okay, so it's giving us a regular expression of characters that are not allowed. So, no semicolon, no pipe, and no ampersand. Well, doesn't actually change a thing, because our thing didn't actually have any of those characters in it. So, yeah, we can just go straight to the same thing again.
Yep. Except the fact that you can change the files in here.
I did. I copied it out of there.
Yeah, I found Natas.
Now, this one that I spent 3 whole hack days tired out of my mind staring at this thing, couldn't get it. XOR encryption. So,
It's not really XOR encryption.
well, whatever. XOR
Okay.
encoding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry,
Alright.
you're right.
So there's a bit of code in here, so color is nice.
You just like color, don't you?
It actually does help readability a lot.
Sorry, you're right. It is XOR encryption. I just realised because they gave me the function. That's why it's insecure.
Yeah. But also, it's stored in the cookie. So that's the data there. Oops.
Yeah,
Did I
set
just
colour.
delete it?
Yeah, press set color.
Yeah,
Set
there we go.
colour, release it.
So set color with Fs. Gives us this. And set color with zeros. Gives us this. Now, look at that. It is different at that point there. Alright. So given that we can see here that the cookie data is decoded from base 64. That's actually a URL encoding for equals. So that's the base 64 there. So if we decode that, it actually gives us a whole bunch of nonsense characters, like invalid ASCII characters. So we run it through a process, decode from the URI to replace that, decode from base 64. Don't actually output that as a string because it's not going to be a valid one, and convert that to hex. So here are the values, and putting them together for comparison, we can see that my screen's not wide enough, but yeah, it starts to differ here, and then 680C are the same after that. So those two spots there. So those are the parts that differ, and that indicates that those sections are 6 characters of the color that was input. So if we XOR those with the plain text, XOR works with that you only need to XOR 2 of them, and then you get the third one. So no matter which ones you XOR, you get the third one. So the first string with the Fs, yep, this stuffed me up a little bit. The PHP script converts the input to lowercase, so that's actually lowercase f's, which have a different ASCII code. So if we assume the plain text is lowercase f's, and then the ciphertext is this useless ASCII values, so we XOR those together, then we get this key. Just to confirm, we'll do the same on that, on this version, and it is the same. That's good. So from here it looks like it's only 4 characters long, because those are the same. But in order to decipher the whole cookie, we need to work out what the key actually starts with, because it's repeating throughout the thing, but we need to know what it starts with. And we can see from the PHP source code that it's in JSON. So therefore, the first character is a curly brace, and then a quote. So getting that from the first characters of the ciphertext, then XORing that with the plain text that we know, gives us the key start of QW. So therefore, it's QW8J. So the cookie we want to decipher is 41 characters long, so if we just repeat the key for 41 characters, we can then XOR that with the ciphertext. So we end up with this plain text, and then as ASCII, that is our JSON cookie. So now that we have decoded it, we need to change show password to yes and re-encode it. So we'll do the same thing but in reverse. And I just did it in Ruby. Yep. So encode. So X is so X is literally yep. So we grabbed that. X is literally that, and then using a gem called what level is this? 11. Hex string. So that provides some handy 2 hex string and 2 byte string. So converting between a string of the hex values for the ASCII and the byte string converted back from that. Makes it pretty easy. So what we got? Yep, so we end up with that. And we don't really need to run it through the URI escape because the base64 hasn't given us any equals on the end. So if we set that as the cookie, and then refresh, hey look, it shows us the password. That was nowhere near satisfying enough to justify 3 days of staring at it. So, it wants us to upload a JPEG. Alrighty. But it has to be under a kilobyte. Do you have any JPEGs under a kilobyte? Well, maybe we'll have to make one. But let's just see what it lets us upload. So there isn't actually any validation on the file type. So it's basically just getting a random name to upload it as. And not checking the extension, so it's cutting the extension off it, I think, and then getting a random name, sticking the extension back on. So given this thing runs PHP, let's whip up a small PHP page and upload it, see what happens. So that is 12. Yeah. Alright, so just to check that it is actually doing something. Oh, no, I forgot to change the extension in here. So it actually sets the name that it's going to upload as right here. So we can just change that to PHP. Ta-da! Alright, so it actually runs. Now, to prevent having to go back and forth, uploading all these PHP files, I whipped up a small reverse shell.
As you do.
Yep, just felt like it, you know, here we go. So, oh yeah, that spells the next one. So, yep, opens PHP, gets the command from the post, and then runs a shell, runs the command, and hides the error output. No, it shows the error output because otherwise it'd be hidden. And then we have a input box and a text box with the output. So let's give it a shot. Just need to change that name again. It was 12, right? Alright, so we haven't actually given it a command yet, so that's why it's doing that, I think.
You didn't put in error check, did you?
Couldn't be bothered.
Well, people uploaded JPEGs.
Yeah, look at all that. Look at all that. So we can open up all these pages, and probably half of them will give us the answer straight away. But let's dive in. So basically, all we need to do is that again. Nice and easy. There we go. Oh, look at that! They only accept image files now. I wonder how they do that. If you're paying attention before, you probably already know. But,
Quick question.
yeah?
Do you just modify the header of this? I thought as much.
So, EXIF image file type. So the EXIF, I believe, is just the first couple of characters of the file. There's like a signature for what kind of file it is.
The first 4 bytes of the file.
And JPEG has one that's a bit, you know, like it's not regular ASCII, I believe. But GIF and bitmap are simply. Bitmap is simply BMP. So if we keep that in the front of the file, hang on, I'll show you it not working first. Oops. Yes. Yes, 12. We're going to change the name again. Ah, they found us out. So we can just add in the bitmap, exif data, turn our PHP script into a bitmap, upload it.
How did you convert it into a bitmap?
I just added the bitmap exif
Streaming
data on the
first
front of the
4 bytes
file.
file for a file header.
So given that's HTML right there, it's not messing us up at all. So yeah, lets us through the exif check and gives us our terminal again.
That explains a lot. So yeah, here I was going through an exif editor to try and get it to convert it to a BMP.
That would just take too much time.
I thought it was going to be a mess with the JPEG stuff, but it turns out you could just put bitmap on there, which
Where'd
was
you find that?
handy.
Just find it online.
Yeah, I just googled that function, to see what it actually was checking.
There's an entire Wikipedia page which dictates file headers.
Fair enough.
This view source code is pretty handy.
I know, right? I think other websites did this.
Oh wait, they do.
Not with the PHP code.
So, so it looks for a username key in the request,
Oh yes.
and then connects to localhost database. But they've taken the password out. But they've given us the actual query that it sends it, and look at that. It's interpolating our input without escaping it. Rookie mistake. So, what we get is, so if we have this query here, hello? So, this is the query. Select star from users where username equals,
What email did I give you?
gotta remove the PHP string escaping stuff.
SCOTH underscore LAE. Yeah. 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 Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yep, so that's basically the query. So those are what we supply. And because there's no escaping, we can supply something nasty and say, well, we don't need the rest of this. We would like to know whether the user for Natas, whatever the next level is, 15. Yeah, I think that's it. Ta-da! Yeah. Username. More source code. Alright. So it's actually giving us the schema here as well. How nice is that?
How nice of it.
So very similar request here. And then if we actually supply a debug parameter on the end of the URL, it's going to tell us what the query was exactly. Let's see that in action. actually have to change where it posts to, and then try it out. So yeah, so that's showing us the query. The user exists. We don't really need that though. But yeah, so unlike the previous one, where it was spitting out the password, wherever that went. Yeah, so this one was spitting out the password for us straight away. This one isn't doing that for us. So what we can actually do is more SQL magic. So it's getting annoying. There we go. Let's consult the notes again. Oh, I didn't even need to put the username in the previous one. Yes. So, whilst this is vulnerable to SQL injection, there's only a Boolean Boolean output. So this is a blind SQL injection. We can use a regular expression to match the password in the following form. So this piece of SQL means, and the password matches this regular expression. Case sensitive. That's an important part that I was doing it with Adam, and we had to make sure we had that bit, because otherwise it was just going to match any case. So when it responds that that user exists, then the password matches the regex. So let's test this. So the username is .star. No, hang on. I need to actually put this in.
You could brute force this.
Yeah. So .star, check existence. Okay, so that user exists. We can check what length it is by using the regular expression like character repeat checking thing. So that should actually be failing. Oh no, it's because it's actually, so it's 32 characters long, but that regular expression test will match a subsection of it, not the whole thing. That's the problem I was having on open day when I was trying to show people. So what I did was I wrote a script that extracts each character individually, because that was just going to take forever to do it manually. And to do so, it gets the full character set possible, takes half of that, and tests that half. If it returns, well, it's got lowercase, capitals, and numbers, so it gets that, halves that. So that half that it's tested, if it's true, then it'll continue with this this set being the remaining possible, and halve that again, and keep going down. So keeping on halving it and going down the matching path.
Is that doing each character placeholder? So you're doing the first character?
Yeah.
Once you found it, the second character?
I'll walk you through the script, because it took a couple of hours to write and was rather satisfying to watch.
Yeah, it was actually quite satisfying to watch. I was sitting there watching you run it. That's cool. It was actually a really good idea on it too.
So movie style hacking, basically.
Oh yeah, you get to see it in a minute.
when I was watching it, I'm like, wow, it's a really good idea of way you did it because,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So I did it this way because otherwise there's 26 times 2 plus 10 queries that it would have to run through maximum to get each character. So with this, cuts that down to 6 queries. So it makes it way faster. So what happens is we have a class Natas blind SQL injection. So it makes any one of those when we run the script. When the class is created, set some options. Even if you haven't, well, those are the defaults. Otherwise, you can provide other ones. Yeah, this is Ruby. So it makes a list of the ranges of characters and then flattens them into just a single array of the characters possible. Yep. And then it starts to extract the password. So with an empty string, it will go through and modify that and return it. That's how Ruby works. And so that string will then be called extracted password here. So the amount of length times it'll do this. So it'll extract each character. So it's going to get the next character and put it onto the end of the current extracted password and then spit it out so we can see it as it goes. So we get the next character with the current extracted password and the options that we've provided. So this function keeps halving the possible character set until we have just one. So we get the next character with what we've extracted so far. So find out how many characters left, and then so this is the remainder that's added onto the end as a placeholder for how many characters are remaining. So say we have the first character, then we would append to the regular expression the dot for any character, and then in curly braces 31, because the password is 32 characters long. So we'll acquire the possible characters, then while we have more than one option left, slice it into 2, get the first one and put it in an array. Is that what it's doing? Whatever. Then building the regular expression in an array. So this character means the start of the string that you're matching. Dollars is for the end of the string that you're matching. So we'll put in the password that we have so far, the password that we're currently testing. Yeah, okay, so that's what this does. So in square brackets, in regular expression, you can put in any possibility for that one character. So that's what we're doing here. We're flattening the remaining possible characters, that the half that we're choosing to test, which is the second half here, the array index 1, not 0. So we're flattening that into one string, then putting that in the square brackets to indicate that to regular expression that it can be any one of those. And because there's not a star or a plus on the end of it, it's only going to look for one possibility in this set, and then looking for the remainder, which can be any character and the number of remaining characters times that. So bounded by those, it'll match the whole string, and then it's going to join each part of this array together to form one string. Writing it like this just made it look better. So then we're going to call does this password match the regex that we have built? So in Ruby, it's a convention to have a question mark on the end of a method that returns a Boolean value. So here, we are then going to call a method that actually makes the request using the regex that we have built, and then retrieving the body, the response, and then checking whether the page has said that the user exists or not. So actually retrieving our Boolean value out of the page to see whether the password matched. So the password match request, yeah, that's just formatting, and then it spits out what we so this part actually just builds the SQL query, putting in the regular expression, and then UniRest will actually make the web request to this address using this basic HTTP auth, and the username will be posted as our full injection value. So it gets whether or not it matched, and then it tells us, so we can keep track of it, and then it will choose the matching slice depending on whether or not so we've tested the second half of the possible characters. If it matched, then it's the second half, otherwise it's the first half. So then it reduces the possible character set to that the one that matched, and then tells us about it, and then once we only have one left, returns it. So it keeps going through and builds the password.
But you're not testing column by column, you're building a string as you go across.
Yep. Natas. Oops. And this is 15. So here we go. I'm just going to scroll up to show you. So here's the full character set. It's testing the second half of that, but that failed. So it didn't match that. So therefore, it's in the first half. So it's going to then test the second half of the remaining possible characters, as it's doing here, and it matched that. All right, so that's going to test the second half of that. So it continues on like that, and we can watch it actually build up the password here. So it's 32 characters long, but it's only doing six requests for each character. Makes it nice and fast. It takes like about 2 minutes in total. Is that satisfying to watch? So it took a little while to explain, but it was much longer to write. It's a shame what?
It's a shame you can't compete in Saskia because there will undoubtedly be a challenge like this.
Yeah, well, now that I've shown you how to do it.
I'll just steal those scripts off you now so we can just use them.
Yeah, there's no reason this library can't be.
Yeah.
There is actually.
What?
You can only use your own personal password. It's kind of like it's unwritten.
Sure, you can still.
What? No, you can use tools that are published online.
Yeah, you can use any
I'm
tool.
putting this on YouTube, so you know,
Okay, cool.
transcribe it off that, and yeah.
GitHub might be better.
Yeah, just chuck it on GitHub for us. But make it private
Yeah.
and only allow us to write to it.
Only people in Victoria. You can have a separate one from New South Wales.
Because the thing is, though, is that we could have a.
Oh yeah, no, put it on GitHub with a bug in it.
It's like a bug that you've been striving for years to try and fix. The thing is,
Ta-da!
like, some of
Thank
people
you.
are interested in having a look at it, you know, you just give it. Yeah. Don't ask questions. So that's what I ask.
That's a Marcus solution.
Yeah.
That is a Marcus solution.
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowhere near Marcus.
We'll have to have the Marcus on board.
Actually, yeah. Why'd you type Natas 17?
Don't know. Got excited.
Excited.
Just keep making it harder, don't they?
I think that's the idea.
That's
right?
annoying. Yeah. So, this one is the
Let's
same.
get out soon.
Sorry?
Let's get out soon. Almost 7:30.
Why is anyone coming in afterwards?
I don't have all, but I don't know.
I don't think there is.
How much more do I have?
Too much.
We're
Well,
terrible. We can do that.
let me have a look at the booking.
We'll move if they kick us.
Other people out there?
No.
Alright. So I got like 8 more ish.
What's the point of this one?
Oh no, there isn't anything after this, but we've got a book.
Why is the output and something out of the account? So you put in a letter and it puts out.
So this one is similar to before, but it's restricting more characters. So we cannot use a semicolon, a pipe, ampersand, the tilde, backslash.
Well, it's a shame they left the
Oh no,
percentage
no. Sorry, or any quote.
Pretty sure your code's still going to work.
Is it?
Yeah. The slashes for the pretty sure the slashes.
Well, problem is, it's putting in quotes here,
Yeah, alright.
and we can't put in a quote to get out of that.
Can you put in a
Can you do
like
hyphens?
backticks as well?
Comment out.
Can we do what?
The hyphens.
Well, it's not going to do anything inside this string, though. Any ideas, anyone?
Shell code.
Do it! Just do it!
So, what we can do is put in a $sign.
Ah.
Alright.
So that calls a subshell still. So, even so, how the hell do we actually get the password out of this thing? Because we can't output anything. And it looks like all the network ports are blocked, so we can't just send it somewhere. So, what I actually did
Get it to output to one of the other challenge folders.
was, output it somewhere public, and then use the PHP shell from the previous level to read that file.
I wonder if that's the way they invent.
I have no idea. We should probably look that up. So, there we go. Cat that.
There's otherwise I could see this on this. Because conveniently they forgot to block the percentage sign.
The percentage sign? What does that one do?
This, hang on, we're in Unix here.
Yeah.
No, it's Linux, my bad.
Are you thinking Windows?
Yeah, I'm thinking Windows.
So, level 13.
I just opened another tab.
I am. Okay. Cat that. Hey, hey!
That's cheating, I'm pretty sure. Peter died.
Alright, Natas 18. Let's see if that exists. Uh-oh, what's this? So this code is exactly the same as before, except they've commented out the output.
Oh well.
Let's give up. No, we can do a very similar thing before, but this one is content. Sorry, this one is not content-based blind SQL. It's time-based. So if we
How'd you
get,
figure out it was time-based?
because I'd heard of it before.
Ah,
I'd
okay.
seen that's that SQL injection toolkit that Adrian made. I watched Julian work through that, and he was using a time thing.
It's been mentioned before, hasn't it?
Sorry?
It's in books and such.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing. SQL can be.
Yeah. So I looked up on OWASP how you actually get it to sleep on MySQL, and fair
And
enough,
sleep
it's
on,
just
yep.
sleep. So what I could do was get my script from before, this one right here, and make it nice and generic to allow either method to be used.
So is this connecting to the website or is this connecting to the SQL server directly?
Now it's connecting to the website and then doing an injection.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't need to go through it again, but you can see that it's like got lots more options because it's heaps generic, and basically depending on your whether you supply content to check for, you'll otherwise use the time-based strategy. So because the server seems to take a little while to respond, I set the sleep to 3 seconds.
So basically you're just waiting for the server to catch up because of the responses.
Well, we're using that as our method of Boolean output. So if it sleeps, then it's true. If it doesn't sleep,
Yeah,
then
'cause
it's false.
Yeah, because it's an and.
So
Ah.
it turns inside 3 seconds.
Yeah. So I've got time here. Yeah. So if it finished
3 seconds approximately.
in less than, if it took more than 2.9 seconds, I did, then the password did match the regular expression. So we can get this one kicked off, so you can basically watch it in action, but it's going to take a while to run, so probably not going to wait for it the whole time.
And
Yeah.
this is the thing
So
you can do with Tasker as well, because you just run it from the start if you got it, and then it'll just go through it all.
so those ones there that were failing return nice and quickly. First character is X. Yeah. So we can leave that running in the background to show that it does in fact work. But we can continue on.
So how did you SSH out? You just went through code packs, did you?
Yeah.
I have to write a script for it.
Probably shouldn't publicize it too much, just in case they
Yeah,
disable
don't
that.
Do what?
So putting this on YouTube, oh well.
Yeah, might want to edit that out.
Aren't all these things on internet? All these write-ups?
No, but like the method that I'm using to SSH out of Swinburne.
Don't get caught with that because you can have all of your accounts blocked with that.
I will edit this video.
Especially this part where we discuss it.
No, I'll leave this bit in.
We'll let them know there's a vulnerability. We're finished graduating.
Nah. Gotta leave it for the next people. So, yeah, here we go. Here's the password that it eventually gets. And it's got
This
7.
way people have been SSHing out of Swinburne.
Sorry?
People have been SSHing out of Swinburne since forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's.
Although
No,
So why
there's
didn't they
there's
pick
another
it
way
up?
that I know of to do it, but I haven't gotten around to that.
While
In addition to the web interface that I set up.
one guy I know was trying to get into his personal system from Swinburne, and he found the only way he could do it was put an SSH tunnel inside SSH tunnel. So it was like,
Yeah.
it seemed like it was overly complicated, but he was trying to check what he was torrenting. that was going
Oh,
on his
wow.
home computer. And so he was like, yep, I'll go through the...
That's when you used your Deluge web UI?
He was using it, he wasn't doing any web UIs.
Oh.
Although,
So,
a while later when I was talking, he did get in trouble because his parents decided to download it too much.
Yeah. This was Darren, wasn't it?
Nope. Nope. I don't know if you knew Aaron. Probably not.
so this one, let's see. Oh, I didn't even explain it. So it makes a random session ID between like what was it 0, 1 and 640. Because 640 sessions is enough for everybody, right? Including the admin. So if we just go through and change our session ID to well, we have to actually type something in to get one. There we go. We have 120. We do it again, get a different one. No, it selects a random one. 92. Okay, so I just used curl this time. No point even getting at Ruby. So I just sequentially try every session ID between 0 and 641. So curl, you just give it the URL, and then I think B gives you a cookie. So yeah, I is that that I variable that it's incrementing between 0 and 641, and then it's going to grep that for the password basically. Goes through and checks each one. But it takes a little while to get to 46. Maybe not. We can just wait. That might change it actually. But yeah, that's the password. We can go to the next one. So, mostly the same as the previous level, but these session IDs are no longer sequential. Okay. Let's see what happens. It's encoded or something. So, what do you suppose that is actually hex ASCII? So we can whip out Ruby. Yeah, there we go. It found it at. Sorry? The output of this one? It was like 40s, 45 or 6, something like that. So basically I tried a whole bunch of combinations of input and found patterns in the encoded value, which indicated that it was in fact hex. So I did have a script that would allow you to get at that. Here we go, 11. Oops. So this loads up these methods and then becomes interactive to allow us to use convert cookie to hex, or that for that previous one with the hex with the XOR stuff. So we can send in our string and convert it to ASCII. Ah, that looks like the password that I typed in, or the username or something, and that is a ID of some description. So, by attempting to log in lots of times, I determined that it was probably between 1 and 640 again. And the password does nothing. So,
Should be Natas 20. The username?
I got it at 381-admin. So that the username is admin and ID was 381. Let's see if that still works.
Ooh.
Nope, they changed it. Oh no, hang on. It's so that's the username, but it's got this encoded as that. So I actually need to set my cookie to that in order to get it to work. There we go. So this one, yeah, this one was interesting. Hang on.
How in the source code they say header has nothing to do with the charge.
Yeah. So, what needs to happen is we need to have a session, and we have to have an admin key in it, and the admin key needs to be 1. So, we can write. What happens is like you write. You input your name, and it sets that in as a name value in session. Session is like an array of values, but it's in an interesting format. It's like
Standard PHP.
yeah, PHP session array thing. I wrote it somewhere. I should have written more about that one. Yep. So the array the session array is split in new lines. So it's so each key value. So a key value is 1 line, and it's a key space value. So the explode there is splitting up the lines into the key values, and then the parts split on the space, and then it sets the thing. Yeah.
That's to take away trailing spaces or leading spaces. You've got blank lines at the start.
It's probably just to prevent blanks. Yeah.
Stop it crashing.
So I think it'll become clear if we just give it a shot, because it's got a debug flag. All right. That is the value of the PHP session right there. So it's got the name of the key, and then basically the type that it is, and how long it is, and then its value. So my first attempt was actually to kind of mimic this format and inject it inside there, but it didn't work because that actually stores the length of whatever you input. So it was just reading characters up until the end of what I'd inputted as the name. So that didn't work. But what did work was to put in a new line using the HTML character %0a. So if we put %0a admin1, so you use the address bar to put that in. So that's our name, and then we put a new line in the file, and then admin %20 space 1. Oh no, hang on, we need to actually put it here.
Do you get like admin equals 0 in normal cookie or something?
No, it's not even set at all.
Cookie's on the right there.
Well, it's got
Is that number?
yeah. So that's the ID of the session that it's going to read the file from on the server. So that is stored there. So that's our session ID. So we need to actually put in the admin key value. So we put it in like this, with a new line, and then that. No work.
It's because it's a post, it's not a...
No?
The change it in the...
Oh, no, I just screwed it up. It's meant to be name equals. There we go. No? No, messed it up again. Oh, no, we just need to reload that. No, that didn't work. Let's just copy what I had here. There we go.
That's because you refreshed the page.
That'll be it, yeah. Yeah. Next. So that took me like a bit over an hour, that one.
Some of them you just breeze straight through it.
Yeah. Now this one's interesting. You gotta go?
Yeah, I gotta go, otherwise I'm gonna be here till 8:30 waiting for a train.
Alright.
Enjoy, guys. He actually knows his stuff.
You going city bound or?
I'll go in the other direction. I gotta catch a train to Ringwood, then swap trains.
Yeah.
Well,
Stuff.
I'll go to the end, so then the rest of this will be on YouTube. So you guys can stick around if you want. Whatever.
I'll be sticking around.
Alright. See ya. So 21. Yeah, so this site and this site, hang on. We need to type in the same username again. See ya. That's a bit messed up.
Great.
Okay. So being co-located is the hint here, and what that actually means is that so they're running on the same server. They have the same Apache instance, PHP, and all that. So what that means is that sessions can be shared between these two applications.
Cross-site scripting without actually cross-site scripting.
So we can see the source code here and here. So basically, yeah, we need in our session array the key of admin, and it needs to be set to 1. This doesn't actually do anything on this page. It's just an output. There's no inputs here. This one, we have some inputs. Some, was it CSS?
What's changed here? It's got experiment in the URL.
Yeah. Yeah. So that will actually output here what we have. Anyway, let's get colors on this. So if we submitted something, each key in the request stored in the session. But we're only going to let these valid keys through. So align, font size, and background color. So for those valid keys, it's going to iterate through those, and then if they exist, retrieve them from the session. So it doesn't actually limit you on setting the key to a value in the session, only when you're retrieving it from the session. So this site is going to ignore any extra keys in the session, but given that that other site is co-located with this one, we can set the stuff in this session and then get the session ID, stick it into the cookie on the other site, and it'll use the same values. So what we can do is so this just submits using, I think, either post or get. Yeah, so that's what request does, either post or get, I believe. So we can either use the form in there and make a box and put it in, or just stick it in the URL. So we can do that. Let's set admin to 1. Alright, so debugging the session content shows we have align center, font size 100, background color blue, submit, and admin is 1. Now on this page, we refresh that, it's not going to work because our sessions are different. P4 and yeah, different value. So we can steal the ID of this one, put it in here. Whoops. Ta-da! You don't quite understand?
Cross-site scripting without cross-site.
So the two sites being on the same server means that the PHP session data is stored in the same place. Yeah. So the cookie here stores the ID, like the name of the file that it's going to read the values out of server side. So on the experimenter, we got it to set a value in the array in the PHP session file, and we got it to submit the key of admin to 1. Like we can set other stuff.
And another experimental one doesn't check those valid keys or something?
It will only read the ones that it wants. It'll just leave the others there. You can see that here. Nope, not that one. Wait, where did it go? Yeah, here we go. So it's got an array of valid keys, and it's just going to go through that array and read only those keys out of the session file. So it's just going to leave the rest of them in there. Does that cover it?
No, what file is this? This is the
So the session file. Do you know how PHP sessions work?
sort of. Where'd you get the source code? Which page?
This is the experimenter source code. The other one doesn't have any inputs on it. It's just it checks in the session if we are admin, and then we'll print the credentials if we are. So it doesn't have any inputs, so we can't manipulate anything on that one. We have to use the experimenter, which is vulnerable to the session
I thought this
injection.
was a previous exercise. I didn't realize there were 2 21.
Oh no, yeah. So Natas 21 had 2 parts to it, the original and the experimenter. Both of the websites being co-located on the same server, meaning we can share the sessions. All right. So, if we have a key revealio in the get parameters, it'll do something. No? Ah, yes, if we're an admin, blah blah blah. Ah, yeah. So this adds header redirect. So
So you print out the rest of that page into the headers there.
if what?
You still get the rest of the output in the headers being changed, the location.
You do, but only for a split second. So notice how it's going to reload this. So it loads once and then redirects back to /nothing. So what we can do is we can just curl the page, because that's going to output exactly what it gets and not do anything about the header redirect. So using this syntax for HTTP basic auth seems to work.
Would proxying it also work?
Catch.
Proxying it.
Yeah, if you were running the old proxy within something.
Oh yeah, yeah, probably.
So where did RevLio come from?
Sorry?
The RevLio thing come from?
Oh, it had it in the source. So it's got the view source code button on here, and then it'll do some stuff if the Revelio parameter is given. But it'll only do it if you're admin. No, sorry, it will only not redirect you if you're admin. So given we're not admin, it'll redirect us. But we can just bypass that redirect, and ta-da, we have the password, and the redirect header. Oh no, it's not actually in the page, it's in was it the actual request part of things? How do we do this thing? Headers, yeah, so it's in here. That would have the redirect in there. Yeah. Now this one. So, it's looking for a parameter called password, and it wants there to be a substring in that parameter of I love you, and it also wants it to be at least 10 characters. That seems pretty easy. Oops. Yeah. Two very easy checks to bypass. Here we go. So this one checks for that parameter again, but uses string comparison between the given password and the real password. So this method is a bit curious in that you can compare things that are not strings. So yeah, we look that up in the manual. You can see what the return values are. Yeah, so that's looking for if it's 0. So if it's 0 if they're equal. So returning a value that is... No, hang on. Yeah, it's looking for 0. So if it'll return less than 0 or greater than 0 if they're different. But here we go. If you rely on string comp for safe string comparisons, both parameters must be strings. The result is otherwise extremely unpredictable. For instance, you may get an unexpected 0 or return values of null, blah blah blah. So, if we compare other types of values with that string, it may give us the 0 that we need. And it turns out that if you put square brackets as the value, on the end of your parameter, it turns it into an array. So all we need to do is that. Doesn't even have to equal anything. So that's going to be sent in as an array in PHP, and it's going to fail and return not 0. So it'll continue on to the next section and output the credentials. Sorry?
Should have a die in the error production.
Yeah. So here we've got quotes from what, the Bible or something? No, not the Bible. I think it wouldn't probably say that.
Yeah.
And we can change the language, and it puts that as a variable in there.
Show you the original. That's Google Translate.
Source code. A little bit lengthy. So what do we got? So we need the request to include the language. Otherwise, it'll just go to English by default. And it includes a file, but we'll only look in the language folder, and denies you if you have if you try to like escape from that folder with ... or the string contains the Natas web pass that we need to get to.
HTML code that.
Yep, that'll work.
Well, it'll still convert that into a string when PHP receives it, though. So what we can do is, this one took quite a while actually, and Alistair helped me a little bit. So to bypass that replacement, yeah. So it's not actually checking if it's present. It's replacing it with nothing.
If you've done access cross-site scripting, you know how to get around that one.
Yeah. So all you have to do is, yeah. So it'll remove that part and leave the 2 dots and the slash for us. Or that makes it a bit better. And to bypass that part, we can use the same symbolic link trick from before using our shell that we have from level 12. So if we whip that out, it's expired. Zimbix is my
His
gamer hacker name.
His handle.
Handle, yes, that's a word. So, all we need to do is make a symbolic link, and then make it available to the other user. So let's make directory and temp. We can't because it exists. Let's make a different one.
She's cute. Remote added cute. You got 2 of them?
Yeah.
Did I get it the other way around?
You're linking to a...
I am getting that the wrong way around. Haha, I wrote that down wrong. we just need to make this available to the other user, because we're running as 12 at the moment, and that's who it's owned by. Whatever. It's actually trying to change the permissions of the file that it's linked to. So now we want to access that, but so that's the directory that I assume it's running at. So we can just go up that many and then forward to where we want to go. But we just need to include these false ones for it to remove and leave us with what we want. Ta-da! And I think we're reaching the end of what I have. Yeah. I haven't solved this one yet. It draws lines.
Try it negative numbers.
No. So this yeah, this one is interesting. It's using some PHP functions to generate images. So, your homework, solve that for me.
Is it calling an external tool to draw that picture?
Nah, it's using
Or
PHP
just
functions.
use that shell you created earlier to transfer it to another file.
Image color allocate, image create true color,
Draw image file.
draw image file name.
Image PNG. So it generates a file and it destroys it. Down in the draw image function.
Does it actually?
Or does that
destroy
just
it,
free
or is it
memory?
just an actually medicine destroy it?
If you look at the source,
The source of the
web browser,
page.
showing up as a include.
It's an image.
Yep.
Can you just go to that image folder and display it?
Display all the images?
Yeah.
No. I think I tried that.
So use that shell you created
File
earlier
source.
to go to that and browse it.
Natas session ID.
You may not have access.
So what's anything useful in cooking?
Well, we have our drawing,
That's an active file created.
which has got like arrays and stuff of the points that it's drawing.
Serializes bug.
Code is base 64.
What's it serializing at?
Contents.
I'm too tired to do this now.
No, that's Weebuggy's serialized.
Serialize. Okay.
At least if this was Java and I was looking at it, and it does the same thing, which I assume it does. That's what the bug's
Uh-huh. All right. I think that's all I have, and probably good given that it's 8:15.
Have you done that Leviathan one?
I went over a couple of those before you got here, so I have to look at the video on YouTube.
This is It's going on our
Yep.
SCSC channel.
Yep.
Google's.
All right. Yeah, there's some bandit ones, but I'll leave that to you guys because that's a really good one. Well, Natas was good anyway. So I've spoiled all these challenges for you now. So you can go and try and
see if I can actually understand.
see if you can do them yourself. Remember what I've talked about without consulting the video. Yeah. Thanks for coming. I hope that was helpful, enlightening. Any questions? Well, not considering the amount of time that I stared at it, completely sleep deprived. Maybe 16.
Well, that's not too bad.
I did waste 3 days though of the hack days looking at it. Yeah.
So you reckon you be able to look at future ones and have a head start?
Yeah, like you do see some patterns.
That language file I was seeing
I can't believe how long it took me to get that the .. part out.
Yeah. Unless you know Unix vector frame, that's probably.
Well, no, it's just the fact that it was replacing it rather than searching for any instance of that in the string.
Yeah, I saw X. I've been looking.
I didn't really give you guys long enough to think about it before I told you.
I've been looking at cross-site scripting. Saw it, as soon as I saw it replace it with just an empty string, I knew it was vulnerable.
Yeah. See, patterns.
Double up all the script tags and such.
Because if you're going to do that, you need to run it in a loop or something to run it anymore.
Yeah.
Just doing it once, it's just doesn't print.
I saw that as a vulnerability in JDownloader. So I looked through the new submissions to Metasploit. That was like the most recent one, just to get an idea of how that worked. So yeah, I should have recognized that. All right.
You just
Finish.
screen capping that or voice
Yep.
over?
Screen capping and voice on that and voice on this.